From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5:30, streaming now.
Now at 5:30, it's what everyone wanted and needed during lockdown. What you need to know if you're in the hunt for a freezer or fridge as we continue to see shortages.
Topping our lineup, you may be thinking about returning some of those holiday gifts. It happens, but we do want to talk a little bit about how the process could be changing this year because of the pandemic. We'll tell you the policies you need to be aware of. And telehealth access now increasing for pets. What you need to know about getting care for your animal, even if you don't have an established vet. And it is hard to keep up with what kids may be doing online that's not good for them. But there is a certain behavior that is easy to spot, and where they're learning it from might surprise you.
If you've been looking for a new kitchen appliance this year, you probably know they can be as tough as finding a new Xbox or a PlayStation. Consumer reporter John Matarese has tips for finding that new fridge or freezer so you don't waste your money.
Looking for a new fridge, dishwasher, or range? Well, the appliance shortage that started way back in March shows no sign of letting up. Tommy Conager needs more space in his fridge.
Yeah, this is one we've had when we built the house 17 years ago.
Like many families this pandemic, he tells me he wants to stock up on frozen beef and chicken.
Well, we'll just invest in a freezer that we'll put in the garage. So we started to look.
But finding a freezer was tougher than finding Nemo.
And so we've been searching all summer long, really, for almost 9 months now. And even when the big box stores have their specials, they don't have them in stock.
It turns out it doesn't matter whether you're looking for a freezer or a refrigerator, an $800 model or an $8,000 model. You're going to find shortages just about everywhere.
So this cafe brand is quite hard to come by at the moment.
Ken Riemann is co-owner of an appliance distributor who supplies builders and remodelers.
And when I check on our vendor websites, they're just not available.
He says the shortages that started when factories shut down for 2 months have not let up.
They'll give, for instance, an estimated time of December 5th, and December 6th comes around and that date moves then to January.
The issue now is high demand as people spend their vacation dollars this year on their kitchens. His suggestion, be flexible on brand and model. What do you tell someone who says, I need a refrigerator now?
We have products coming in. Our warehouses are more stuffed now than they have been ever, but it seems that we can't get the full package.
If you're hard to set on an exact size, color, and model, he says you could wait till spring. The worst shortage of all, standalone freezers, because not many of them are made. So don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese, WRTV.
Well, those clouds, they never really cleared out at all today. We did think that we were going to hold on to them for the bulk of the day. Fortunately, just a couple of flurries out there, but it was a dry one for us, just on the chilly side. 28 degrees right now in Indianapolis and Kokomo. You're at 27 in Bloomington. Got the lower 30s, though, in Muncie and Shelbyville right now. Feels a bit colder than that, though, because we've got this northwest breeze that's been pretty persistent today, bringing in that next shot of colder air between about 10 and 15 miles per hour. So it gives us these wind chills. What it feels like out there this evening in the teens in Indy and Greenfield feels like 23 for you in Bloomington and right at 20 the wind chill in the Muncie area. All is quiet though, even though we've got those clouds in place. There's a system off to the west, but it's not going to get here for a little while. So if you are heading out there this evening, just layer up, but you're not going to have any rain or snow to deal with there. Steady temperatures in the 20s and we've got a northwest breeze, but we do have some rain and snow in that forecast. More on that in just a bit. Chris?
The news feed starts with another player in the vaccine race. Novavax is the 5th company to start its late-stage trial. It says it will use up to 30,000 people for that trial from the United States and Mexico to test out its vaccine. Finland is joining the list of countries detecting a more contagious form of coronavirus. This variant was first found in the United Kingdom, but Sweden and Norway saw cases as well over the weekend. Well, it's concerning to hear about these mutations of the virus, but Dr. Anthony Fauci says he is confident that this variant is no more dangerous to cause a serious illness, and he is also confident that the vaccines that are available can protect against it. Now, the pandemic is having an impact on mental health for so many of us. Young people are particularly feeling this with changes in learning and missed milestones.
What we're hearing is that young people are depressed, that they have very little hope for the future, and they want skills to be able to help themselves and their peers.
Now, that is some of what Mental Health America found in a new survey talking with 14 to 24-year-olds. Only 24% of them think that training adults would help them with their mental health challenges. Instead, 47% said that they want to learn more about how to help their own mental health. And that's what one new program developed during this pandemic is trying to help them do. An Oregon-based nonprofit is behind the program Uplift by Youth Era. Now, it's in partnership with the University of Oxford. It's a 5-day virtual event and training that is free for young people.
It's giving them the skill sets to take a look around in their community and say, I can be a part of change. I can help things even in this dark time. You're not alone, and you are powerful and capable of making a difference.
Now, the training includes identifying signs of distress, building coping skills to use beyond COVID, and for COVID as well, and learning about self-care. Now, you're taking a look at video that they did provide us of their training. Oxford is studying the program and says so far the results have been positive, and the people behind the program say the teens have told them that it does feel more like an event as opposed to having to do even more Zoom school. Now, if you do know a young person who would benefit from this, they can find more information at upliftpeers.com. All right, next in our lineup, you may be thinking about returning some of those holiday gifts. The process is changing because of the pandemic. We have some of the new policies you need to be aware of.
Now at 5:30 on WRTV, colder weather in central Indiana is impacting some local businesses relying on outdoor seating throughout the pandemic. In McCordsville, the team at family-owned Daniel's Vineyard is continuing to come up with unique ways to get their wine and food into the hands of customers. They've created a quarantine kit, Quarantwine, that includes wine, chocolate, and toilet paper, delivered by their newly created character, Grape Kelly. Also for the first time, they have a pop-up shop at the Fashion Mall in Indianapolis.
This brings us like a lot of exposure because a lot of people coming in, they're like, we've never heard of Daniel's before, or we have, but we've never been there. And so it's kind of a cool way to get our name out there as well.
I mean, we have a full kitchen. So the opportunity again presented itself to, hey, how can we still, even though, the cold weather is here and the second surge is hit, how can we still continue to approach the community? So we created Daniel's at your doorstep. And with that, our chef and his team create pizzas, salads, sandwiches, breadsticks, you name it. And you can actually go online and order those items, and we can again bring them to your front door.
The final days for the pop-up shop are Wednesday and Thursday of this week. If you want to support the vineyard, the Kits and Daniels at your doorstep delivery is available for Marion, Hamilton, and Hancock counties.
Chances are even more of your holiday gifts arrived in the mail this year, which can make returns more complicated.
This is going to cause a major problem when it comes to returns. So shoppers really need to manage their own expectations when it comes to sending things back that might not have worked out for the holidays.
RetailMeNot.com shopping expert says you can expect delays and returns similar to shipping delays that we saw certainly heading into the holidays. Now that means longer wait times for refunds. The good news, many retailers are allowing more time for returns and giving additional options.
Other locations where you might want to return something in person are offering returns curbside, similar to buy online, pickup curbside. Places like Dick's, you can actually return your items in front of the store.
Amazon extended its holiday return policy. Any orders shipped between October 1st and December 31st can be returned through the end of January. Now, Walmart just added a new option with FedEx where they pick up items shipped and sold by Walmart.com from your home. You can schedule pickup and print a label from Walmart's website or the store's app. You can also return items bought online inside a Walmart store, or you can skip returning them altogether.
Remember, you can sell something on Facebook Marketplace or even Nextdoor. You can donate that item to charity, consider eBay, or actually consider regifting something. Valentine's Day, kids' birthdays, teacher holidays, all other great options to put your used item, gently used item, or brand new item that you just don't need into a better home.
That's a good way to look at it. Now, two things to be sure you do now. If you do plan to make a return, check the deadline so you don't miss your refund window, and take a picture of the return label or receipt so you have it just in case the money does not show back up on your card. All right, we got more to get to in our lineup. Telehealth access is now increasing for pets. What you need to know about getting care for your animal, even if you don't have an established vet.
0 first month's payment and 0 to a tiny.
This week, the United Kingdom could approve AstraZeneca and the University of Oxford's COVID vaccine. Story starts our newsfeed. AstraZeneca also claiming its vaccine will be effective against the COVID-19 variant that has been detected in the UK and other parts of Europe. A warning from Dr. Anthony Fauci about the cost of gatherings as we close out the holiday season. He says we may see a surge in cases because people have gathered for holiday celebrations. Fauci called it a surge upon a surge because cases are already rising. Now, as cases rise, so are the amount of people who are flying. TSA says more people went through security on Sunday than at any other point during the pandemic. The previous record of more than 1 million people was set just last week. Rural hospitals are in a difficult spot right now. COVID is hitting them harder than many metropolitan hospitals, and staffing is far lower. As Dan Grossman shows us, dire situations start to arise when some of those limited staff members start getting COVID themselves.
When the time comes to look back on what we've been able to accomplish.
Oh, as you can tell, I've led a very eclectic life.
Most would only hope to have a resume as diverse as that of Kurt Papenfuss.
The boys got to meet, the Pope. One of my claims to fame is giving a Rambo a shot in the butt.
There was also Everest, spending time with Neil Armstrong, and most recently, going toe-to-toe with COVID-19, a battle that left Kurt alone in an ICU for 9 days.
There's a darkness in this illness that I can't say I've ever said about any other illness.
Being the only ER doc at a rural hospital in Colorado, it was a fight Kurt was all too familiar with, and one that affected far more than just himself.
Worst case scenario, you would have to divert patients if you don't have people in the door to care.
Stella Worley is the CEO of Keith Memorial, the 25-bed hospital where Kurt works along the Colorado-Kansas border. Kurt's illness sent her unit into a tailspin as they frantically looked for his replacement.
We are a trauma level 4 hospital, so keeping that physician on staff 24/7 is what we are required to do. And it is getting to be more of a challenge to have hired physicians out here in rural.
According to the National Center for Biotechnology Information, about 20% of our nation's population lives in rural areas, yet less than 10% of our nation's physicians practice there. It is a shortage that has plagued rural health care since even before COVID. For Stella, it meant a search for an ER doc that ended with a fill-in who had to drive 10 hours from Texas last minute to cover for 2 weeks while Kurt recovered.
And I'm very worried about rural healthcare because a lot of rural healthcare is teetering on the brink right now.
According to CDC data, COVID is killing rural Americans at a rate 3.5 times higher than those living in metropolitan areas, bringing this issue to a head.
If everybody wants to do a miracle, just sit down right now with me and take a big breath in and a big breath out.
An issue that has led Kurt to see more of life's beauty outside of his eclectic experiences.
If you're recovering from COVID like I am and almost died, you just appreciate a light bulb on a Christmas tree.
I'm Dan Grossman reporting.
We are working for you with a traffic reminder tonight. Starting Saturday, State Road 37 in Martinsville will close for most of 2021. The closure will stretch from State Road 39 on the south end of town to Morgan Street north of State Road 44. A new access road is open in the area, connecting New Harmony Road at Cragen Road with Centennial and Egbert Roads. Now, the detour to get around this is quite lengthy. You'll need to follow State Road 39 through Martinsville to State Road 67 north and then cut back over on State Road 144 near Mooresville. Downstate, the construction of a bridge carrying I-69 across the Ohio River is expected to take steps forward in 2021. That's according to Evansville city leaders. The biggest step would be federal approval for a route carrying the interstate across the river. How to pay for the $1.5 billion bridge? Well, that's still up in the air, though initial plans included the possibility of using tolls to pay for this project. Now over to Kyle.
All right, and if you are going to be out there traveling this evening, we've got cloudy skies. May see a little bit of that drizzle or mist out there with some of those low clouds before they begin to clear out a bit. Our temperatures in the upper 20s right now in Indy, Kokomo, and Bloomington at 29. Feels more like the teens in spots, though, because we've got that northwest breeze about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, as those clouds clear out for us, it is going to be a cold one as we start off your Tuesday, right around 21 in the city. And I do think some locations will be in the teens early on Tuesday. Temperatures with some sunshine here. We'll get back to around the freezing mark at noon tomorrow, but quickly we'll see those clouds building back into the area, and that kind of puts a lid on temperatures. Only the middle 30s for us with a light southwest wind. So your high temperature 37 tomorrow in Indianapolis and Muncie, about 38 in Bloomington, and Fishers at 35. So we'll call it seasonably chilly, but look at these temperatures over the next several days. Up on Wednesday, back down Thursday, and then for New Year's Day we climb before we fall again heading into the upcoming weekend. And with that transition will come some rain. This is Wednesday morning, and it does look like we'll be mild enough for a soaking of rain that should add up to about a half to 3/4 of an inch. 7-day planning forecast as we put it all together for you. There's that drop in temperatures on Thursday, 53 though on Friday, and look ahead to the first weekend of 2021. Should be mainly dry out there with temperatures in the upper 30s. Chris?
Many of us have been using telehealth during the pandemic, and it's becoming a popular service for our pets as well. Stephanie Stone shows us how this virtual care is working.
Really highlights the value of something like this. And it also really highlights where society is living. So many of us, even before the pandemic, turn to Google, turn to the internet first. That's our first step in almost everything.
Dr. Sarah Michelle is the lead veterinarian for Vetster, which provides on-demand virtual care for your pet.
Consultations, meeting pet owners in their homes where they are with their pets, and helping to address urgent and preventative care health conversations to them.
The company launched in October of 2019, and while not formed because of the pandemic, they certainly evolved at the right time.
The veterinary clinics themselves are feeling a really heavy surge. With the pandemic, it's been a pretty crushing situation for them because we already, as a profession, had some staffing challenges, just not enough veterinarians for how many pets and pet owners there are.
Pet owners, she says, often have a hard time getting an appointment, or they have to wait in their cars with their animal outside of their clinic. And according to Vetster, 50% of pet owners don't even have an established home clinic.
I think that it offers a great addition to the tools that I have at my disposal. I have my stethoscope here. Telehealth can be used very much the same way.
Dr. Douglas Kratt is the president of the American Veterinary Medical Association, which serves some 96,000 vets across the country. They've been through a lot this year, adjusting to new norms like all of us. And as in human medicine, they've had to perfect or initiate virtual options.
It doesn't replace your veterinarian. What it does is help your veterinarian better serve you and your family member.
There are, he says, some obvious challenges.
I can't hear if your dog's coughing. I can't listen to the heart. I can't listen to the lungs via telemedicine. So that wouldn't be amenable.
But he says overall, it's effective and especially worthwhile if it's with your established vet. But if you don't have one, Vetster and other businesses like it aim to help.
There are so many pets and pet owners who sometimes sit on things and aren't sure if they need to go into a clinic, really appreciate that sort of peace of mind in the middle of the night that no, you don't need to pack yourself up and get into a vet clinic. You know, this is something that you're okay to wait until the morning.
I'm Stephanie Stone, reporting.
Stephanie, thank you. Let's turn to the news feed. Actress Lori Loughlin now free from prison. She served 2 months in connection to the college admissions scandal. Her husband serving a 5-month sentence. A Chinese journalist has been sentenced to 4 years in jail for reporting on the early days of the coronavirus outbreak in Wuhan, China. She was accused by the Chinese government of spreading false information and disrupting social order. Her lawyer says she's currently on hunger strike. The NFL fined the Ravens $250,000 for violating COVID protocols. League said the violations led to an outbreak of 23 players and caused the team's game against the Steelers to be rescheduled on Thanksgiving. Several other teams have faced fines this season. Now, finally, in our lineup today, it is hard to keep up with what kids might be doing online. That's not good for them. But there is a certain behavior that is easy to spot, and where they may be learning it might surprise you.
Only at Mattress Firm.
With the stress of the pandemic, online schools, and children spending more time online, a safety expert is spreading the word about what's called sad phishing.
Meaning they're posting something, they might leave out a fact or two, and they'll make it look like either they're the victim or they're sad, and they're looking for a little bit of that feedback that we all want.
Josh Oakes says the behavior of sad phishing is often learned from watching adults online who do similar things. But the results can be more problematic for children because it's more likely to lead to peer bullying, and it's exactly the type of behavior that predators are looking for.
Predators are not mean people online. They typically will befriend your student and be 15 times nicer than the parents of the student. They'll say, hey, you're beautiful, you're nice. They'll say all these very nice things to win over the student and to start to build trust.
Now, if you notice a child sad phishing, first make sure it's not a real cry for help instead of just attention. Oftentimes, you can tell by seeing if their online behavior matches their behavior at home. Then start talking to them about it. Open a dialogue about in-person relationships being more fulfilling than online comments.
And if you're having a bad day, it is good to vent via text message, in person, over coffee, in the classroom, or via Zoom with the rest of your class. Vent in person as much as you possibly can.
Bottom line, social media is not a safe place for young people to regularly air out their feelings or compare themselves to others. Now, the government is set to give more money to struggling businesses through the Paycheck Protection Program, but this time around, there are some changes. Tomorrow, how all applicants from this produce greenhouse to restaurants and other businesses will have to prove that they need the money before the government says it will cut a check.
And change is pretty much going to be the constant in our forecast here over the next several days. 37 with mostly cloudy skies as we get into our Tuesday afternoon. Then temperatures rise with some rain on Wednesday. They'll fall again Thursday. Then they're back up here for New Year's Day, but with more widespread rain. Could see between about 1 and 2 inches of rainfall as we get through the end of the week, and then chilly for that first weekend of the new year.